State regime media, which calls itself Fox News, was panicking live on air. They're losing all control as Donald Trump's approval hits a new low, the worst in modern presidential history for the first year. So what are they talking about on state regime media? Well, they have Tomi Lahren hosting, and she wants to know the question that they were talking about over and over again on Fox. Where is Joe Biden? And she goes, Biden is on a vacation. Surprise, surprise, she says. Here, play this clip.
And you'll never believe where Joe Biden was spotted. Spoiler alert, he's on vacation.
Yeah, as this one account says, that's probably where a retired man with cancer would be. You know, he's not in office right now. So why are you worried whether former President Biden is on vacation or not? You know, Donald Trump's out there in Mar-a-Lago disgracing our country each and every day, ranting and raving like a lunatic while golfing. I think that's where we should probably be concerned about as he deteriorates and rots physically and mentally before us. Then they have this lady, Caroline Sunshine, I guess auditioning to replace Caroline Levitt. And she's like, you know what? I've got a message for you, Newsom. She goes, I'll put this in terms maybe you understand. Donald Trump is daddy. Trump is daddy, Newsom, and daddy is mad at you. This is what they're doing on state regime media. This is perverse. It's weird. It's dangerous. What a strange lady this is. The hell are these? Daddy? The hell are these people doing? Here, play this clip.
Oh, you and I both, Jason. I'm also born and raised in this state. Let me try to put this in terms that Gavin Newsom will understand. Donald Trump is daddy. And daddy cut you off. And daddy said you can't use his credit card anymore. Because why should California and Gavin Newsom be getting federal funds when they don't even follow federal law? Nobody is obstructing federal immigration law more than the state of California and Gavin Newsom. You don't get a penny if you're not going to enforce federal law. And
next, Fox state regime media brings in someone who is a psychotherapist. They bring in like a psychotherapist who is speaking to the audience and says, look, there's always a villain. Democrats want to make billionaires the villain. Billionaires are the good guys. And as a psychotherapist, let me explain to you why we need to save and protect the billionaires. You know, I'm thinking like, you know, the hypnotized, the hypnotized, but the billionaires are the good guys. What a weird crew. This is what they're doing on state regime. Here, play this clip.
How does that go up in the brain?
Yeah, Tommy, it's interesting that there was once a time where people admired the rich and we aspired to be rich, but some people on the far left don't seem to be doing that. And I'd like to get back to a time where we do that. There's always a villain, and that's the problem with the far left. It seems like they always need an object to hate, a villain, and it's not really helping them. I would say it's creating mental health issues, whether it's high anxiety or depression or just hatred towards people around them. And they really need to try to move away from that and try to be inspired by people that are wealthy and learn how to be self-sufficient. And sure, of course, there are times when people do need government help, but there should be a striving to get better and be self-sufficient.
Next on state regime, they bring in somebody who thinks Peru is in South Africa. And they're talking about the Peruvian shamans who said that Donald Trump's going to get very ill, very sick, that Trump's health's going to decline seriously. That's what the Peruvian shamans predicted. But state regime media brings on a guest who thinks that these are tribes in South Africa. Why South Africa? What are you even talking about? Here, play this clip.
By the way, I want to get to this one because it's so ridiculous. Trump derangement syndrome is now international. We've got a group of Peruvian shamans. They performed a ritual of predictions for the new year. And among the predictions, they believe President Trump will fall seriously ill. But it wasn't all bad. The shamans also forecasted an end to the Russia-Ukraine war and the defeat of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. What do you make of this? I think maybe the last two will come true, and I hope they do. But that first one, I mean, come on now.
I think even we've gotten to the point where tribes in South Africa are begging for attention. I mean, anything you say bad, negative about President Trump is just a cry for help. This is crazy.
Okay, very, very good. And maybe we should learn geography a little bit. Then they bring on Kellyanne Conway, Miss Alternative Facts. And, you know, after Fox asking the tough questions like, why is Biden vacationing? And asking whether Peru is in South Africa or Peru, they bring in Kellyanne Conway, who's asking the pressing questions. Not who's your daddy, but she's asking, you know, what's going on with Rosie O'Donnell? Rosie O'Donnell, hey, that's what the American people are focused on. Rosie O'Donnell. Here, play this clip.
But I have one question remains, just one question I've never tried on Rosie O'Donnell left. Don't you have anybody who loves you? You need a hug or a husband or a hobby or a hairy dog. Get yourself some help, because this woman last week, she referred to Trump as a blob, a slob, calling someone else a blob.
In that video, she said barely human or something like that.
It's just terrible. By the way, she moved to Ireland, but she never moved on. And that's the problem. I live with Trump derangement syndrome. It's toxic, it's chaotic, and it's sometimes frightening. But I will tell you, a lot of Democrats don't like it. They feel that they're going to get beat in 2028 if their only message is Trump, Trump, Trump.
Rosie O'Donnell, really, while the American people can't afford their rent, can't afford their home, while they are in massive debt, while the American people who are working, if they're lucky enough to have a job, live paycheck to paycheck, are psychologically tortured or having their health care ripped away by the Trump regime, being poisoned by the Trump regime. Measles is spreading. Our economy is in shambles. That's what they're doing. But then Tomi Lahren hosting, she goes, the real issue is that there are these billionaire haters. They hate the billionaires. And why don't the billionaire haters learn from how smart the billionaires are? Here, play this clip.
All right, when the clock strikes midnight tomorrow night, Zohran Mamdani will become the mayor of New York City, which means the world's ultimate center of business and finance will be run by a self-avowed socialist who does not believe billionaires should even exist. And of course, his friends Bernie Sanders and AOC agree. In fact, Bernie will even be swearing Zohran in. But have any of these billionaire haters ever stopped to think about what can be learned from successful people? Probably not. But now they get to spread their billionaire hatred day in and day out on the taxpayer dime. And all that demonizing has a real psychological effect. Psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert just wrote about this in the New York Post.
Like, this is like objectively deranged stuff, right? Like, we're watching objectively like like some strange behavior.
Do you struggle with focus, productivity, or efficiency like I do? Maybe you have ADHD and are looking for tools to help you. Everyday Dose has a combination of coffee and nootropics and Lion's Made that help with focus and mood improvement. Now, as you know, we have a very busy and even hectic schedule sometimes here at MeidasTouch. We're constantly on the go, and while I love my coffee, I'm looking for something better. A simple but effective alternative that doesn't take even more time out of my day. Everyday Dose is my new coffee alternative. It tastes just like coffee, but it's enhanced with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional mushrooms, and my gut and brain have never been happier. It takes 30 seconds to make, and I never run out of ingredients that I need. Everyday Dose has been a savior for my body. It's not only an incredible coffee, it also has collagen and functional mushrooms that get rid of any negative side effects of coffee on my stomach. If normal coffee is like a flip phone, Everyday Dose is like a smartphone. It's coffee, and yes, it tastes like coffee, but it has all three other functional benefits that get you ready for 2026. Now, Everyday Dose is coffee plus benefits. They combine high quality coffee with powerful ingredients like Lion's Made and chaga, collagen, protein, and nootropics to fuel your brain, boost focus, and give you clean, sustained energy all day long. It tastes just like coffee without the downside, no crash, no jitters, just clean, sustained energy. Get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit, a free A2 probiotic creamer with over $100 in free gifts by going to everydaydose.com/Meidas or entering Meidas at checkout. That's everydaydose.com/Meidas for 61% off your first order. Everyday Dose is also available at your local Target.
Okay, then you have one of the Fox hosts right here Just watch for yourself. She goes, the deportations that you're seeing in America, they come from love, not hate. They come from love. This is how Donald Trump says, I love you. Deportations. Here, play this clip.
Deportation does not come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of love for our country and our people. Because you go across this country, particularly in our cities, and you see we have a lot of issues. We have homelessness, high crime, fentanyl overdoses, and decay. So what President Trump is doing is he's making America great again. He's investing and cleaning up these cities and fixing our country. Americans work very hard for their money, and so their tax dollars should only be going towards our country and our people, not foreign nationals or foreign countries.
Then they've got Greg Bovino, this freaking maniac. He's like, and as a way we show we love you, if you self-deport now, we'll give you $3,000. That's a sign of love. We love you. This is what Bovino says. Here, play this clip.
And they need to check themselves when they're talking about us arresting people that are innocent. All illegal aliens are on the table. We're going after those criminal aliens and anyone else that gets in the way. They've got the opportunity to go home via the CBP Home app. As a matter of fact, if they do it before the end of the year, I think it's $3,000 instead of $1,000 plus that free plane ticket. They've got the opportunity. President Trump and Kristi Noem are giving them the opportunity. And if they don't take that opportunity, Tommy, we're going to give them a very different opportunity, and that's called a deportation. They'll never come back.
What a generous offer from that CBP One app, by the way. $3,000 self-deport. I think that sounds like a great deal. I hope many more take you up on that offer.
And then Bovino, or as Governor Newsom calls him, Border Patrol Bozo, admits on TV that the Trump regime is, of course, deporting American citizens and arresting American citizens. Here, play this clip.
Tommy, those talking points are indeed very tiring. I get tired of listening to that. But, you know, as far as American citizens, the vast majority of American citizens, especially the U.S. Border Patrol's arrested, many of those citizens assaulted federal officers, assaulted Border Patrol agents in the performance of our duties. Anyone that assaults a federal officer, you're going to go to jail.
Then they bring on Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz says, we've made the biggest healthcare investment in history. We're giving rural hospitals $50 billion. $50 billion, everybody. You see, the problem with that, Dr. Oz, is that you cut healthcare costs overall by $1 trillion. So by giving $50 billion, you still took away $950 billion. You see how that works? But we could just deal with the rural hospital piece, not the overall pie, not the trillion in healthcare costs and healthcare services you took away. So let's just say, Dr. Oz, that I stole $1,000 from you and I returned $200 to you. Should I be bragging that I returned $200, or would I be arrested and prosecuted for taking $800? And would you be mad at me that I took $800 from you? You see the way that works? So there were $200 billion earmarked for rural hospitals. Okay, you took that away. Then you gave back $50 billion. So you took away a total of $150 billion, then gave back $50. You still stole $150 billion. You see that was simple math right there? Let's listen to what Dr. Oz has to say. Play this clip.
Well, Dr. Oz, I'm so glad you're there because you're heading up the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. 50 states will receive an average of $200 million in rural communities across the country. Tell us more about this historic investment about modernizing care, particularly in rural hospitals.
Jason, this is the single biggest investment in rural health care in our nation's history. It was a visionary move by the president and by Congress to allocate $50 billion, which, to put it in perspective, is 50% more money than these areas of the country get from Medicaid right now. There's 60 million people at least who live in rural America. They're all going to benefit. Right now, your zip code does predict your life expectancy because folks can't get access to care. They don't get high quality services. The $50 billion was deliberately given in a very rapid fashion to each of the states in a way that forces the governors to take charge, to make the difficult choices to right-size the rural healthcare system, use modern technology to streamline care so you can use AI or telehealth if it's appropriate. We can get the right number of doctors and nurses into these areas. We can begin to get groups to work together who historically would not collaborate to help our fellow Americans. And the best news, Jason, is what we learn through these innovative approaches in rural America is going to benefit urban America. So if you live in the inner city, it's still going to help you because the things we learn about making the care of the average American better helps all Americans.
And then finally, you have this ex-FBI director, Parker. And here's what she says about ISIS. She goes, okay, the reason we keep hearing about ISIS right now, she says, right now in December, Trump eradicated ISIS. Biden brought them back. And now Trump has to deal with them again. Really? Let's just assume you're right. We're in December right now. So if ISIS was so terrified about Donald Trump, wouldn't they be in hiding January, February, March, April, May? ISIS is getting stronger under Trump. Oh, that's Biden's fault? Got it. Or maybe Donald Trump didn't destroy ISIS. Maybe Donald Trump's a liar. And maybe Donald Trump just frees terrorists, freed the Taliban with no plan, made America weaker in Afghanistan. Biden fortunately exited Afghanistan, and all Trump and MAGA did was blame Biden when Trump was the one who cut the deal and unleashed the 5,000 Taliban fighters who swiftly took over Afghanistan without coordinating with the Afghan government. And now we're seeing Trump destroy American affairs internationally everywhere. But here's Parker. That former FBI agent. Here, play this clip.
Real quick, because I don't have much time, is ISIS going to make a comeback? We know President Trump squashed it in his first term, but it seems like ISIS-inspired folks, whether they just be lone wolves here on the internet, being weird, it feels like it's back more than it has been. How concerned should we be?
I'm very concerned. And this is at no fault of President Trump. He had eliminated this threat. And then we come into the Biden administration for 4 years and it went off the rails. And so now again, the Trump administration is being charged with coming in and cleaning up this absolutely disastrous mess. And we cannot understate the open border. We do not know who is in our country. Those individuals have never been vetted. They are here. And we just have to be on high alert at all times. But again, do not live in fear. We will not let these individuals win. The FBI is working tirelessly. HSI, our federal agencies. Tommy, these were agencies that were so focused on January 6th misdemeanors for 4 years. It's so refreshing to know that they are back on track. They are focusing on the foreign terrorist organization groups. You are now allowed to say that, Islamic terrorism is a major threat. You weren't even allowed to say that under the Biden administration. And so I think that they have the focus right where it needs to be. But again, we've got a lot to be concerned about.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you so much for watching and have a great one, everybody.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.